Warning, this following video podcast contains strong language and opinions that all viewers will find offensive and should not be viewed by anyone.
Is it okay to punch a Nazi? Now, this all started, as you know, you're probably all aware of, a guy called Richard Spencer, who is a fucking Nazi. This is not an ad hominem. This is not one of those situations where, oh, you're just calling him a Nazi because you disagree with him. Fuck off. Right? This guy is a white nationalist, neo-Nazi piece of shit, and he, in the last couple of weeks, has had a bit of a problem with being punched in the face. Not just being punched in the face, being punched in the face by white people. So which is, encouraging. It's nice to know. He's had a problem with being punched in the face by white people, and it's created this whole conundrum of, is it okay? Should we be condemned? Now you can condemn this all you fucking want, people. This goes back. This is very. I don't know why people bear so much burden on themselves. It seems like a form of narcissism. When something like this fucking happens, there's this burden on everyone saying, oh, should I come out and condemn this? Should this be fucking... It really probably doesn't matter what most of you fucking think. This goes back to the whole fucking, Muslims, where are the Muslims condemning terrorism? It doesn't matter. Terrorists are going to do terrorist attacks, whether Muslims come out and condemn it or discount or denounce it. They couldn't give a shit. And if someone wants to go out and punch a Nazi in the fucking face, or punch specifically Richard Spencer in the fucking face, they're going to do it. They're going to punch him in the fucking face, and they don't give a shit what you fucking think. But this is something that's come out of blue, and it's amazing how there's just so much concern people have got. Like, oh, it's just worrying. It's worrying when some bloke gets twatted in the mush twice. Some bloke who is an avowed neo-Nazi gets fucking twatted in the fucking... gets, smashed right in his Chevy Chase, and suddenly we've got this big... It's like the fucking world's coming to an end. It's like, oh my God. Now, I posted some things on Facebook, and I've been very sort of glib about the whole Richard Spencer getting punched in the face and Nazis getting punched in the face thing. I'm not, I've been very sort of, at best obtuse about the whole fucking thing. I haven't taken it at all seriously. And this has led some people to be confused about where I stand on this fucking issue. So I want to make it perfectly fucking clear. I made a video yesterday on YouTube that was actually about Alex Jones, but I ended the video just with a nice little thing just to trigger the right sort of people. I just said, I finished my video and said, oh, and don't forget to punch a Nazi in the face. And this provoked several responses out of people. Many people. I want to make it clear where I stand on this fucking issue. Right? So let me be clear. So from this moment on, you can take this. This is my serious stance on the fucking Nazi punching conundrum that we all seem to be racking our fucking souls with. Personally, I personally would not punch a Nazi in the face. Now, this is not... I want to make this clear. This is not because I wouldn't want to. Right? This is not because I wouldn't want to punch I've wanted to punch many a fucking people in the face in my life. And if I was the sort of person who was capable of it, I would do it. Probably I'd have done it on a much more regular basis than I would have done. I'm currently 0 for 37 years. I'm 0 for life on punching people in the face. I'm not good at punching people in the face. If any of you have ever seen me, you'll know that me punching someone in the face is not exactly going to be doing much. I'm 120 pounds, including pimples. I've got muscles like knots in a midget's penis. I am not in any way capable of punching someone in the face in an effective way, unless I was going to punch them in the fucking face because it was just, I wanted to, hopefully they take pity on me, right? My feet, my hands are my arms and my fists are feeble and weak. Me punching you in the face or punching you anywhere would basically be the equivalent of a newborn kitten with a sponge strapped to its head accidentally bumping into you. That's the level of damage we're talking about here, okay, people? That's where we're sort of at. That's the position we're at, okay? I would never punch someone in the face. It's not my fucking deal, okay? There are plenty of people I want to, and I'm not getting into the ethics of whether is it right or wrong to punch anyone in the face. I'm going to look at it on an individual basis. I'm going to be more nuanced about it. I'm going to look at it on an individual basis. There are people who, if they get punched in the face, you know what I say? Fuck them. Good. I don't care. Right? I would personally, nor would I see, and this is another point, right? I'll make this clear. I would not seriously advise anyone or want to feel like I'm provoking anyone. If you're out there and you need my validation to punch a Nazi in my face, you ain't getting that from me. Okay? I am not advising you to. I do not want to encourage you to. Right? I've said things on Facebook that sound like I am doing that. They were very much tongue-in-cheek, believe me. Right? I would never advise or provoke you to go out and punch anyone. Right? It's not my you make your own fucking decisions. If you're listening to this, I'm assuming you're an adult. Make your own fucking decisions in life. Don't sit there and wait for me so you can piss and well blame me for this your bad decisions in life. That being said, even though I would not provoke or encourage anyone to do it, and neither would I do it myself, if somebody who I happen to find personally to be a detestable, loathsome piece of shit, like, for example, Richard fucking Spencer, if it just so happened that Richard Spencer or someone else of an equally loathsome fucking quality happens to be outside one day and catch a stiff right-hander upside the fucking head, then I am not, right? That, to me, that's something that happened in the world. What I'm not going to do is bust a blood vessel with concern and fucking and outrage. I'm not going to sit there and start slamming my fucking fists on the table and scream and start with some scream. No, fuck it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go, oh, there's a thing that's happened. And also, nor am I going to conceal or hide the fact that, rightly or wrongly, I might happen to find that particular example of physical assault amusing or satisfying. You can sit there and say that makes me a hypocrite. I don't fucking care. You're the fucking hypocrite, right? In my opinion, because I don't believe there is anyone else. We can sit here and talk about how, we advocate non-violent fucking means. Well, bollocks to you. Just because you advocate non-violent means yourself, don't you dare fucking sit there and tell me that there aren't moments in your fucking life when you've heard about a certain person or persons getting fucking twatted round the fucking boat race and you haven't sat there and thought, right, fuck it, good. But Piers Morgan, here's someone, most people hate Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan, many years ago, got punched in the face by Jeremy Clarkson. Jeremy Clarkson, nobody gave a shit. Jeremy Clarkson was given standing ovations everywhere he went. There are people, regardless of whether they're Nazis or not, some people are not. I would love to fucking nothing but smash my fucking hand into their face for a half hour with a brass fist on. Onision, right? YouTuber Onision. He's an example. I would love nothing more if I had half an hour in a room, a soundproof room with no doors or windows, with that cunt and a chainsaw. There would be, I dread to think the things I would be capable of fucking doing. Okay? But that's just me. And if I heard someone smashed him in the around the head with an iron bar, I'd be like, good. Right? I would laugh if someone kidnapped Onision and Piers Morgan and took them out to the desert in Nevada and tied them to 2 chairs facing the sun and cut their eyelids off. I would be perfectly fucking happy with that. Because fuck them, I don't care. They have not. They have done nothing to earn my sympathy. Yes, they're human beings. So fucking what? That's not the basic precursor for me. It needs to be a bit more than just that. Maybe if I didn't know them, maybe if I didn't know anything about them, they were just normal, regular people, and not the fucking dried up, encrusted, toe-dwelling piles of sputum that we know them to be. Maybe then, yes, I'd say that's fucking disgusting and unfortunate. But I don't. I know who Piers Morgan is. I know who Onision is. And fuck them, I don't care. Right? I'm not going to pretend. I fail to believe that all these people who are so fucking... These virtue signalling... fucking alt-rightists who suddenly so concerned about, oh my god, this is fucking, they didn't give a fuck about other, whenever it's a case of a white person getting in trouble doing something, they've got a long list of fucking excuses, haven't they? Whenever a right-winger does something horrific, whether it's murdering someone or assaulting someone, or doing anything, they've got a long list of fucking excuses, rationalisations, or just, complete and utter indifferent silence to the whole fucking thing. But when when suddenly it looks like hold on, people are fighting back now. People are going out there and they're not scared to... Those left-wing, cowardly little special fucking snowflakes. Oh, God. Those cowardly little puffy, limp-wristed... Oh, God... bunch of fucking homos on the left, who just, them, suddenly, whack, suddenly it's, whack, leave us alone. Don't be mean to us. To me, it's a reaction that says it's working. That's all I'm going to fucking say. So there's my fucking stance on that. If this bothers you, if you are bothered by the fact that I don't care and that I found it funny, if this bothers you, then we're either going to have to agree to disagree or you can fuck off. Because I personally feel there are more pressing issues in the fucking world today than whether or not some Hitler-worshipping Looney Tune, some fucking hateful demagogue, some piece of shit arsehole wanker, right, is scared to leave his house in case he gets twatted in the fucking mush by some fucking lefty anarchist. There are bigger issues in the world to that than me. You can sit there and give yourself a fucking ulcer with worry. I will fucking be sat here going, couldn't give a shit. Because there's more in this planet to fucking worry about. I'm not going to sit there and pretend I care. Or pretend I'm worried. Or pretend it concerns me. I'm simply going to be honest about it. And if that kind of honesty bothers you, then this is not for you. Because I had some people on my fucking, but so I really fucking love it when people on my YouTube channel who claim to have been following me for ages, even though I don't fucking recognise their name, they're saying I've followed you for ages, and they say I'm very disappointed in you, and I'm like, oh, sorry, Dad, I'm terribly sorry. It's like I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Who the fuck asked any of you? Believe it or not, I didn't necessarily do any of it. I don't necessarily do any of this for specifically your fucking praise. Or your disappointment is not anything of concern for me. So I'm just very disappointed. Seeing as you advocate people just expressing their opinion. Well, what if that opinion is genocide? And we'll get onto that in a minute. Now, I know people will say, oh, Richard Spencer's never advocated genocide. We'll get on to that in a sec. There was one particular guy on Twitter who said to me, he's like, well, the difference is Hitler actually killed people. Richard Spencer is just expressing his opinion. Oh, I see. Right, so we have to actually wait for people to die. And they go, well, you can't prosecute someone who's done nothing wrong. That's the fucking law. Who the fuck's talking about the law? I'm talking about natural fucking justice here. And maybe sometimes that comes in a fucking knuckle sandwich. That's maybe just the way it comes sometimes. Richard Spencer has recently made a YouTube video on his shitty little fucking YouTube channel where he's actually said, he actually meant to clear saying, he's scared to go out and leave his house. Oh, bless him. Oh, poor old Rich. Come on, Rich. Is that all it takes for you to give up? Is that it? Is that how fucking sensitive you are? It takes one fucking smash around the face for you to give up. He says he's scared to go out, and if we can't go out, we can't have a public movement. If we can't have a public movement, then we're probably going to fail. Good! That's fine with me. It's his fucking decision. He wants to live with it, and he gets no sympathy from me. I've had fucking problems too. Right? I've had to fucking pay the price for sitting here and simply recording myself saying things. I've had to pay that fucking price over the last 8 pissing years. I've fucking spoken about it well documented it. I've had people phoning bomb threats to places I was playing, and I had gigs cancelled. They wouldn't book me because people were threatening the fucking places. I've had fucking death threats written by hand on paper put through my front fucking door, right, with no stamp on it, so the person knew where I fucking lived. I've had people threaten. I had one guy threaten to stab me on Twitter if I came to Edinburgh to do a gig, and it turned out this guy was a member of the English Defence League who lived in Edinburgh now, and he just literally, a month prior to sending me that tweet, just got out of prison for stabbing his girlfriend. So don't fucking come to me and talk to me about, oh God, fucking, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still fucking doing it. I haven't shut my fucking mouth. You won't shut my fucking mouth. And yet, here I am supposed to fucking sit here and give some fucking two shits about this cocknob. Well, fuck him. And the one that pissed me off the most, though, the one that pissed me off the most was a comment I got from someone, I won't mention their name, but they did point out, they go, I've donated money to you in the past. I'm not a fucking congressman, okay? You don't buy my fucking opinion. If you want to fucking send me money, I fucking help. My arms are open. Fucking go ahead. But if you do send me fucking money, don't expect me to sit here and just be a fucking echo chamber for you. I'm not here to fucking confirm your biases, mate. It's not my fucking job. It's not my fault you've turned into a fucking knob in the process. It's not my fault that you sent me money years ago and now you're a complete arsehole. That's not my fault. Okay? But what this particular guy said was, well, you do realise if you start hitting people for just expressing their opinion, if you start hitting these Nazis, eventually they're going to hit back. Oh, I see, I see. Eventually, they are going to hit back, are they? Because up until now, obviously, the far right, they've been so passive, haven't they? They've got this long track record, a century of zero violence. And now, all they're doing is expressing their opinion. And people are unfairly punching them in the face. I mean, why would anyone do that? And it's not them that's getting it, it's one fucking geezer. And all of a sudden, I'm supposed to... You're worried that eventually... Why don't we go... I tell you what, why don't you talk to the surviving members, the few survivors that are left of the Holocaust, and talk to them about how worried you are that what are we going to do if the Nazis start fighting back? Because they'll fucking tell you. Why don't you go and talk to all the people, the gay people and the black people and the minorities who were injured and or the families of those who were killed by the fucking BMP nail bomber? Why don't you go talk to them? And then you can ask them, what's going to happen if they, they might start fighting back. They will tell you what those people are capable of. They might tell you the fighting they've already done. Why don't you go talk to the fucking family, the husband, and the fucking, the now, and the children of Labour MP Joe Cox, who was fucking shot last year by a neo-Nazi fucking Britain First member. Why don't you go ask them about what Nazis can do? Why don't you talk to the people who are the relatives or the survivors of the fucking shooting done by that Dylan Roof committed? Why don't you talk to them? Why don't you talk to the family members, the parents who lost their fucking children when Anders Breivik killed fucking 70 kids in fucking Norway? Why don't you talk to them? Why don't you talk to the people, the victims' families and friends of the fucking 6 dead fucking Muslims who got shot dead in a mosque in Quebec 3 fucking days ago? Why don't you talk to them? And then start showing me that you're fucking worried about this. Because that's why people get punched in the fucking face, my friend. That's why people get punched in the fucking face. Because they come out and they advocate for things, they support things, and we know where they lead us. We know where they go. We know what fucking end they have in mind. We know what the fucking end of the tracks is. We've seen it. It's happened. I'm sorry if there's some distortion coming in on this. I'm getting very angry about it. And you want me to sit here and fucking worry because some shit for brain... Fucking... Do you know what Richard Spencer's fucking response was to the killing of 6 innocent people in Quebec, Canada, in a mosque? Do you know what his response was? I've got it for you right here. This was his fucking response. His response was, why are there mosques in Quebec City, one of North America's most beautiful cities? That's him. That was his response to 6 people who did nothing wrong other than look different, sound different, and believe a different thing from him. And they're dead. And he doesn't care about that. He cares about the fact that they were there in the fucking first place. Is he that... Do you believe he's that ignorant that he doesn't know? Of course there are mosques elsewhere. Of course there are mosques in Canada. Of course there are mosques in America. Of course there are mosques in Britain and in Europe. Of course there are fucking mosques. Because in this part of the fucking world, in this, we used to be a fucking people. We used to have a fucking idea, a belief that you can be what you want to be here. As long as you keep yourself to yourself, you don't bother anyone else, you don't fucking force it down anyone else, you can fucking, Karen, you want to believe in fucking Allah, you want to believe in Yahweh, you want to believe in fucking whatever, you can do that, just fucking get on with it. That's your fucking business. Are you fucking bothering anyone else? But he wants to know why they were there in the fucking first place. And this is my point I said earlier about talking about genocide. Because that comment there, that question, that response that Richard Spencer gave, that is a genocidal comment. Because what he's saying is, it doesn't matter that they were killed. It doesn't matter 6 Muslims were killed because they shouldn't have been there in the first place. So my question to you is this: how many innocent people, Muslims who are in first world, who are in Europe or Britain or America or Canada, how many Muslims is it okay to kill before Richard Spencer starts taking an interest? Because 6 clearly isn't enough. Is it 10? 20? 50? What if we rounded up all the Muslims who live in non-Muslim first world countries, and we fucking rounded them up and we put them, say, into a camp, and they just, over a course of many years, disappeared? Would that bother Richard Spencer? I don't think it would, quite frankly. That's just an assumption on my part, and you can say that that's a fucking unfair one. I could give a shit. He has shown that he doesn't give a fuck about anyone's life but those of white Christian indigenous. That's a fucking laughable word. There's one phrase white people don't have a fucking place in saying. It's the pissing word indigenous. And I'm supposed to give a shit about this guy. This is a guy who on his YouTube channel back in last November made a video. He was suspended from Twitter. His Twitter account was suspended. He makes this massive fucking video talking about, and in the first few minutes of this video, he compared his fucking to every single. He opens the video by saying, well, I'm still alive, at least physically, which is the weirdest way to open up a video online. I know Richard Spencer probably doesn't have the most sharpest of fucking fan base, but I'm pretty sure they can work out whether or not a human being is breathing and alive. Mainly because they're watching a fucking video of them. But here's Richard Spencer, and you just watch it and count the amount of fucking bizarre comparisons he makes. He takes every single horrific form of genocide and ethnic cleansing, fucking, the Holocaust, the Stalinist purges. He compared his fucking Twitter account being deleted to the Stalinist purges. Fucking anything horrific. 9/11, fucking Negan killing Glenn in Walking Dead. He compares all these fucking things. The combined death toll to every historical reference he makes, trying to equate it to him losing his Twitter account, is somewhere close to 1 billion people. Easily. And I'm supposed to give a shit about this guy? This guy got punched in the face, and you're wondering why? And you're expecting me to fucking sit here and act like I give a shit? Let's talk another thing about this guy. This is a guy who, in another YouTube video he made, praised a gentleman by the name of Andrew Anglin. Now, Andrew Anglin is the editor-in-chief of a website called The Daily Stormer. It's grown in some popularity in the last year because it's an horrifically vile web. I've got it bookmarked. I check it regularly. And the thing about Andrew Anglin, it's to his credit, he's not one of these pretentious, he's not politically savvy in the sense that he doesn't hide or sugarcoat the fucking horrific things he believes. But Richard Spencer not only defends this man, he refers to him as a rational human being. Let me just give you some ideas of the kind of shit that Andrew Anglin writes on the Daily Stormer. I'm not going to link them to you. You can check them out yourself. Brave blonde girl Ali Dowley raises thousands of dollars for having sex with a How to be a on Twitter. Israeli rookie rabbis use brown Jews as practice for sick penis chopping ritual. More evidence that allowing women to vote is childish and destructive. Mystery meningitis outbreak in fag. Those are the kind of things that Andrew Anglin, who, as a man who, in Richard Spencer's eyes, is fucking rational. And I'm supposed to give a shit. This is a guy, and I'll get to this in a second, who will not fully denounce Hitler or the Ku Klux Klan. And you want me to fucking sit here and just sit there with my arms crossed and shake my fucking head? You want me to fucking act like the end of the world is coming because this fucking cockknocker took a well-deserved fucking smack in the chops? You think I fucking give a shit? Go piss up a rope, motherfucker. You can go tell it to someone else. And the worst part about it is this Andrew Anglin. One person, he writes an article about Milo Yiannopoulos, and I hate it. Do you know why? Because Andrew Anglin doesn't like Milo Yiannopoulos, but the problem is he hates him for all the wrong fucking reasons. And it's a shame because there's so many good reasons to hate Milo Yiannopoulos. But fucking no. But no, he declares a holy war on Milo Yiannopoulos. Daily Stormer Book Club Crusade, the final solution to the Milo problem. Basically, he doesn't like Milo because he's gay and his mum was a Jew, and that's enough for him. And he resents the fact that that he's one of the faces of the alt-right. There's another alternative. Alternative facts, alternative right. Bull fucking shit. It's like anything else that's alternative. Alternative medicine. Alternative facts, alternative right. They're all the fucking same. Not that they didn't fucking try, of course. Not that these fuckers didn't try. For example, Pamela Geller, the fucking editor of Atlas Shrugs and her own website, The Geller Report, she reported on January 30th, Quebec mosque shooter identified as Moroccan Muslim Mohammed Kadir and Alexandra Bisnet. These two guys were witnesses that the police were looking for. But Pamela Geller, and it seems Fox News as well, they shared this information that the Quebec fucking shooter was a Muslim. Now, it's not unheard of in the past for radical Muslims to perform acts of terrorism against other Muslims to make it look like, to try and help radicalise. But that didn't fucking happen. No, it was a white, anti-feminist, Trump-supporting, alt-right fucking shitlord who fucking went in and did this. And isn't it a shame that before he fucking went in there, someone didn't clip him round the fucking face? Wouldn't it have been wonderful if just before he got in there, someone had dived in, fucking Superman punch right in the fucking noggin? Wouldn't that have been a fucking tragedy then? I bet you'd be fucking crying about that, some of you, wouldn't you? I bet they'd be fucking, he's just walking with a gun towards a mosque with a fucking faraway look in his eyes and blood dripping out of his fucking face. Is this fucking right? And that's the game they're fucking playing. And you want to tell me this is all bullshit? That all this stuff, and that all this prejudice against Muslims and all this bias against... you want to tell me that this doesn't exist? Let me ask you this. Here's an interesting one. What's the one trend that's been common on social media over the last couple of years when an Islamic terrorist attack has happened in a first world Western country? What's the trend? Oh, let's put a little flag on our Facebook profile. Let's do that. Where's the one for Canada? Is there one for Canada? Is there even an option for one for Canada? I don't fucking think there is. I haven't seen one. I'm pretty sure, though, if that had been a Muslim walking into a church or a Muslim walking into some other place and killing 6 people, I'm sure there'd be fucking Canadian flag Facebook icons fucking everywhere our pissing well bastard looked. And just one more on Richard Spencer. Donald Trump got into a bit of hot water. Donald Trump on Holocaust Remembrance Day, the same day that he decided to implement this travel ban executive order. Which isn't a Muslim ban, is it? It's not a Muslim ban. I mean, apart from the fact that it all happens to be 7 countries, that the lowest, I think, is 92% fucking Muslim. And it's not also because of the fact that he happens to have picked countries that he doesn't have business ties with, but they're still Muslim countries. And it's got, and just because he's come out and said that Christian refugees from those countries will be given priorities and will be allowed to skip their fucking clue. And just because last year in July he called for an immediate ban on Muslims travelling. Oh no, this is not a Muslim ban. Let's not fucking kid ourselves. But he also got in trouble because he failed to mention in his Holocaust Remembrance speech one of the more sort of significant groups who were involved in the Holocaust, and they're called Jews. Of course, maybe I don't even think this is deliberate on Donald Trump's part. I don't think he's fucking that. He doesn't think that far ahead. Richard Spencer, the arsehole, and Richard Spencer, by the way, the term alt-right was coined by him. You know, he complained that he was pleased that Donald Trump had not mentioned the Jews. He dubbed it the de-Judification of the Holocaust, which is like saying the de-Africanization of the Rwandan genocide. The de-Muslamification of the Serbian of the Serbian Holocaust. The de-Armenianization of the genocide by the Turks. It's just... And he complains because Jewish activists have long insisted on making the Holocaust all about their meta-narrative of suffering. Oh, what a bunch of wankers. Do these people not understand that these days people like Richard Spencer have to suffer the pain and the torment of having their Twitter fucking accounts deleted? And even though the Twitter account was put back up 2 days later, he still made a big deal. And these are the people who call other people oversensitive special snowflakes. What greater example is there of someone being a special fucking snowflake than that person thinking that the rules don't apply to me? He carried on to say he referred to Hitler, calling Hitler a historical figure. Whoa there, Richard. Calm down, my friend. Easy there. You don't want to go out on too much of a fucking limb here. That is a controversial opinion, isn't it, folks? A historical figure. Well, bugger me sideways. It takes a brave man to make a fucking bold fucking assertion like that. He's done things that I think are despicable. But he's not going to go into details. Well, why would you go into details? Because if you went into details about it, you'd probably find out that Richard Spencer, the things he thought was despicable, was Hitler's policy on bin collection. Oh yeah, the genocide was fine. It was his recycling program was a fucking nightmare. But he's not going to go into details because I'm not going to play this game. Yes, because your fucking fan base will crucify you if you dare actually say anything specific. You've just got to look like you're fucking denouncing Hitler. We're not actually saying. And this is what the fucking world's come to, where oppression and persecution in the eyes of these people is losing a Twitter account. Or at least he lost his Twitter account. Fucking Milo Yiannopoulos fucking went to the fucking White House press conference to fucking talk about the pissing, getting the fucking government involved because he got his fucking blue tick taken off. Or the neo-Nazis who called for a boycott of Star Wars because they called it a Jew masturbation fantasy of anti-white hatred. Or the neo-Nazis who are fucking boycotting Starbucks. Oh good, a shorter queue. And you notice we just had Christmas. Where were these fuckers? You know, Christmas is a great time to see the hysteria of the fucking oppressed white masses. Here's a story for you. Muslim Londoners donated 10 tons of food to help the homeless during Christmas, in the food drive from an East London mosque. 7,500 people attended in total. Did you see the alt-right fucking Christmas food drive for the homeless? Did you see that one? Because I fucking haven't seen it. It was another great one. This was the Daily Express. Church makes nativity scene with Mary wearing burqa to promote Islam. And they show you a picture. I'm not making this up. An Italian priest has called outraged over his controversial nativity scene, which portrays an Islamic interpretation of the traditional Christian. She's got a scarf on her head. That's it. She's got a fucking scarf on her head. That's what Mary's pissing world looked like forever. She's got a tea towel on her fucking head. That's it. And this is translated into the fucking the Islamification of Christmas. And this is your oppression that you talk about. This is what it is. Don't sit there and tell me it's anything else. I'm supposed to sit there and cry and fucking feel and weep for you because of a nativity scene in Italy that's got Mary wearing a scarf over her head. Oh, the humanity. Because of a Twitter account, because of a verification tick, or because of your pissing video game bullshit, or because of fucking Star Wars, or a female, all-female Ghostbusters. This is your fucking oppression, and you want me to care? Fuck you. Fuck you, and fuck anyone who tries to fucking tell me I'm wrong on that. You're a fucking joke. This one here's another one. This is a Nigel Farage. Oh, Nigel Farage, who's got a job on LBC London at the moment, and he sits there with his stupid little red "Make America Great Again" hat. What a fucking treacherous bastard. We should have him hung at the fucking nearest lamppost. Scottish hatred of the English is the biggest racism, says Nigel Farage. Quotation marks, the cunt. The biggest racism I have seen in British politics is happening north of the border, where some of the anti-English hatred is reaching a truly astonishing level. I have been to Scotland. I have lived in Scotland. Spent many years of my life in Scotland. I've never once had a single fucking problem. The reason he has a problem, Nigel Farage has a problem, the reason you, Nigel, get pelted with fucking shit when you go to a pub in Edinburgh is not because you're English, it's because you're fucking Nigel Farage. Do you understand? But of course, no, it's not. It doesn't register that, does it? And what's the real fucking narrative that we all hear about that? It's all about culture. It's one of these fucking things, as they say in Wolf on Wall Street, when he talks about it's a fugazi. It's a fugazi, a fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It's never landed. It's not real. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real. They'll tell you multiculturalism has failed. That's what they'll hear. It's what you'll hear. You'll hear that. And it sounds like just a reasonable opinion. But let me ask you, what actually is multiculturalism? What actually is it that's failed? What is it about people who come from different cultures coming over here? What is it that's so fucking different to the differences of the people who live here? What's the real root of the problem that they seem to find? Because there is nothing, even if you took let's take all of the immigrants out of this fucking country. Let's take all of the religious minorities and let's take them all out. And let's just look at what's left. Is that a monolithic culture? No. There's nothing monolithic about any culture. Least of all a culture like Britain. Because we're a mongrel nation. We're made up of we are basically the Wild Bean Cafe of history. Every fucking civilization and group came over here and and it's the way it's always been. It's the way it's always been. We're not monolithic. Listen, Myself and Nigel Farage have one thing in common. We were born and raised in the same fucking country. Are you going to sit there and tell me that Nigel Farage and me are somehow connected in some way? That's not the same. Just how is that any different than the difference between me and Nigel Farage is the same difference between Nigel Farage and a Pakistani immigrant who's a Hindu, who barely speaks a word of English, right? Who drives a taxi or a minicab. The difference is the same. There's one slight difference. It's the colour of my skin and where I was born. And you might say, and you could say, there are things I have in common with him, obviously, but not enough for me to sit here and say that that it's any fucking different. That the difference is big enough that I can't sit here and wonder what is the actual problem when you say multiculturalism or multiracialism or what these have failed. It's failed because you won't let it fucking succeed. For all intensive purposes, myself and Nigel Farage or myself and Richard Spencer, we might as well be from two different fucking planets. Our lifestyles, our upbringings have been completely polar opposite of each other. The people who we are now are completely different. The lives we have led are completely different. We might both speak the same language technically, right? But what we choose to say with it, sounds to each other. Everything I say to Nigel Farage, everything he says to me, it just sounds completely divorced from what we would consider to be reality. We don't fucking dress the fucking same. He looks like a fucking Alan Partridge, Delboy Trotter, spiv, right, as my mum would call him. He looks like some dodgy little fucking donkey jacket wearing wanker. Fucking, it's like a fucking frog that's been stretched over his face. He's a cunt, right? And then you got me, fucking pasty white, dangerously underweight, fucking big bearded crackhead, right? Not much in common there, have we? Not much in common. Yeah, we both might like similar things in terms of music and that, but I can hardly see, like me, I can imagine him liking some shit like Genesis or some fucking crap, or Hawkwind or Marillion, and whereas I'm walking down the street with my hood up listening to fucking Ice Cube, Wrong Nigger to Fuck With. I don't think that's it, If Nigel Farage walked into my shop and heard me blaring Natural Born Killers by Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, I don't think he'd fucking like that any more than when you go into a corner shop and you hear some fucking and the Pakistani radio stations on. The way we dress is different. The things, is it a belief system? I don't have a religious belief system. He has one. But that don't fucking... But that's just as different, isn't it? Isn't me being an atheist and him being a Christian make me and him ideologically just as fucking... in terms of our religious beliefs, doesn't that make us as ideologically different as a Christian and a Muslim? Doesn't it? How is that any different to what we mean when you say multiculturalism? What do you actually mean? Is it the language we speak? Do you know what? It doesn't matter what language anyone speaks, because unless they're talking to you, what they're saying is none of your fucking goddamn business. It's none of your fucking business. It doesn't matter when Nigel Farage says, I was on the train and everyone was speaking Romanian and it made me feel very nervous. Well, do you know what? I've been on trains filled with UKIP supporters and that made me feel fucking nervous too. It doesn't matter what people on the train are fucking speaking. It's none of your fucking business. I'm amazed you on a train full of Romanians they didn't fucking beat the shit out. Belief system? Well, look at our politics. Are they anyway? There might be one or two issues we overlap on. When people sit there and they talk about how, whenever they say, you know, racism, multiculturalism, and when something bad happens, like an Islamic terrorist attack or some racially motivated crime, they go, well, this is what happens when races, you know, people of different races live. No, this is what happens when racists fucking live together. This is what happens when racists fucking say, because they don't want it to fucking work. And the more you can fucking try and make it not work, the better it is for you. Because you don't want to live in that world where everyone's got a fair fucking shake, do you? Because then you might have to work a bit harder for the crap you fucking got. Multiculturalism, diversity, these things, they have not failed us. We have failed it. And as long as I'm still breathing, I'm going to fight that. And I hope you will too. I won't be fighting it with my fists. Yeah. And I'm not going to fucking say that you should either. That's your fucking decision. But whatever you do, fight.